Bienvenue.
I call this meeting to order. Welcome to meeting number 159 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Public Accounts.
Taking place in a hybrid format. Pursuant to the standing orders, members are attending in person in the room and remotely using the Zoom application. Before we begin, I'd like to ask all in-person participants to read the guidelines written on the updated cards on the table. These measures are in place to help prevent audio and feedback incidents in order to protect the health and safety of all participants and especially our interpreters. A kind reminder to all those in person as well as online that for the safety of our interpreters, it is very important that your microphone is muted when you're not speaking. Merci à tous pour votre coopération.
Thank you for your cooperation. Pursuant to Standing Order 1083G, the committee commenced consideration of the Public Accounts of Canada 2024, referred to the committee on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024.
I'll first announce the witnesses. I'm just going to have a couple of words to say to kind of preempt any comments. First, our witnesses, and thank you all for agreeing to come in so quickly on short notice. I do appreciate it, as do all members. From the Office of the Auditor General, Karen Hogan, Auditor General of Canada, thank you for you and your team. Andrew Hayes, Deputy Auditor General, Sana Garda, Principal, and Etienne Matt, Principal. From the Department of Finance, Chris Forbes, Deputy Minister, good to see you again. And from the Treasury Board Secretariat, Annie Boudreau, Controller General of Canada, good day, nice to see you in this morning. You and your team, Blair Kennedy, Executive Director, Government Accounting Policy and Reporting, John Daly, Senior Director, Public Accounts and Advisory Services. I've just got a couple comments before I hear your points of order, points of protest on Public Accounts 2024. These documents were tabled yesterday, the very last day Parliament was sitting. As long as I have been chair, this committee, in report after report, has been urging and calling on these documents to be tabled by the end of September. They're typically tabled the end of sometime in October or early November. And this support, or this call, has had cross-party support. Now, I'm going to let members, of course, probe our witnesses today as to why they've come so late. But if you're protesting us sitting after yesterday, I'd urge you to direct your questions to cabinet ministers for not managing this document so it is presented to Parliament in a timely manner to ensure that members and the public have the accountability and transparency they deserve. On that note, I'm going to turn things over to our witnesses, who will each be given time to speak if they choose to take it. So, Ms. Hogan, you have the floor for up to... Yes, point of order.
Mr. Chair, I just, again, I respect you may complain about the tardiness of the tabling of public accounts. They were done according to standing orders. But my issue is not with the witnesses being here, but out of respect for the witnesses that are here, you've called this meeting last minute with less than 24-hour notice. You and I have had these discussions before. It's irrespectable of us. It's a disrespect to our committee. And the fact that the tabling of the documents happened yesterday, I'm questioning, we have to allow members to prepare themselves in order to ask the right questions. And here we are again, at your will. You didn't consult anyone. I didn't receive any emails from you. So I would ask, why do you not consult with committee? Why do you not respect the will of committee? When committee meetings are called, you've essentially, and it's an important exercise, I understand, but be respectful of members. You are not respectful of members, and I'm losing confidence in you, Chair, because in 10 years, never gone through this before. Only 2 meetings I've had in less than 24-hour notice. One was in October when you called you put a notice of meeting with less than 1 hour, and then you've put a notice of meeting with less than 24 hours. It's disrespectful to the Chair, and to us as a committee, as committee members. That's not how we operate. I've been with Mr. Macaulay on government operations with an opposition chair. Never had the chair done that. It's disrespectful to our time. And I don't mind doing this exercise, but give us at least 48 hours. We require notice of motions, a 48-hour notice of motion to be tabled 48 hours.
Thank you.
So it's not going to go well today. I'm warning you, it's not going to go well today because you're disrespectful to us.
Thank you, Mr. Durant. Ms. Rempel-Gardner.
I would just say that this was getting into the realm of debate.
Yes.
On a point of order. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Mr. Durant, I was not able to provide 48 hours notice because it was not known if the public accounts were going to be tabled yesterday. So as soon as I knew, we invited we confirmed with the departments, and they were all willing to be here. And I don't think it's asking too much for members of Parliament of this committee to be here as well, if officials can be here to speak to this document.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
I actually would like to seek some clarification from the clerk. I want to know when invitations were sent out to our officials, because if we only received such short notice, I would like to know how short notice did they receive in order to be here for you to get the resources of the room. I have had this conversation with all of our committee time and time again for the amount of time that I've been on this committee. And every single time you give us the runaround, you quite frankly are quite tyrannical in how you operate this committee. And it is
Point
really
of order,
unfair.
Chair.
Okay.
No,
I'm going to go to our witnesses
not
very
done.
soon.
I'm still not finished. I'm seeking clarification. When exactly were invitations to officials sent out?
Point of
Were they
order, Chair.
also
This
less
is
than 24 hours?
debate,
Because
and
that's
you're not
that was the
required to
notice that we
provide such
received.
information.
I have no problems. I have no problem being in this committee. I have no problem doing the work of this committee. And I have shown that, I've proven that in many ways by building consensus amongst all parties to try to pass forward motions to get the work done. The reality is, Mr. Chair, in the time that I've been on this committee, we have had more meetings and less reports than ever within public accounts. And that's a failure on your part, Chair. I really wish that we would stop playing this partisan politics, and I would like some answers here. So please, I would love the clerk to help us clarify when were invitations to officials sent out.
Well, I asked the clerk to put the officials on notice on Monday that if the public accounts come, we would look to bring them in on Wednesday. Once we had indication that they were available and confirmation began to come in, you saw the first notice. We had, I think, two departments on it with a TBC, and that was filled out in the morning. There's no skullduggery here. If the government had done its job and tabled these in a timely manner, we would have dealt with this in a timely manner. I am put in this corner because of the actions of the government and the delay in this.
Absolutely not.
That's how you behave.
Mr. Durian, it's not my job to march to the government's beat.
It's not the government's beat, it's members' beat.
All right,
You're disrespectful.
I think
you're disrespectful.
Mr. Durian, it's not my intent to be disrespectful.
If you advise you advise department officials on Monday, we found out at 4:30 yesterday. That is disrespectful to members.
Thank you, Mr. Durian.
Franchement.
Thank you, Mr. Durian, for your points of order. Ms. Hogan, you have the floor for 5 minutes, please.
Mr. Chair, thank you for this opportunity to discuss our audit of the Government of Canada's consolidated financial statements for the 2023-24 fiscal year. I would like to acknowledge that this hearing is taking place on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. With me today are Andrew Hayes, Deputy Auditor General, and Sana Garda and Etienne Matt, who are financial audit principals. Our audit of the government's financial statements is the largest of the audits carried out by my office. It involves almost every one of our financial auditors working to ensure that the data presented in the statements is complete and accurately reflects the government's financial results for the year. This work serves to help Parliament exercise its oversight of the government, promotes transparency and accountability, and encourages good financial management. You will find our independent auditor's report on the government's consolidated financial statements starting at page 55 of Volume 1 of the Public Accounts of Canada 2024. We issued an unmodified or clean audit opinion on the government's consolidated financial statements. A clean opinion means that the information in the financial statements was presented fairly and in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. In other words, readers can rely on the information provided in the financial statements. In 2023, our auditor's report was dated September 7th, and the public accounts were tabled on October 24th. This year, the government took longer to finalize the consolidated financial statements, which caused delays in completing our audit. The tabling of the Public Accounts of Canada happened yesterday. The public accounts are a key accountability document. They help Canadians and parliamentarians understand how public funds were spent, compared to the commitments and promises that the government made in the year's budget. Si cette information n'est
When this information is not available in a timely way, its usefulness and relevance is compromised, and the opportunity for Parliament to use this information for decision-making is also reduced. Each year, my office also provides Parliament with a commentary that highlights important information about the results of all of our federal financial audits. This year, we are drawing attention to opportunities for improvement that we noted in the financial reporting process. The Office of the Comptroller General leads and oversees financial accounting and reporting across the federal government. Based on the results of our work, greater oversight is needed from that office for significant transactions and new programs across the government. This year's commentary highlights a weakness that we have covered in past reports. 80% of Crown corporations did not have their corporate plans approved before the start of their fiscal year. Delays in approving these plans must be addressed because they result in operational inefficiencies, project delays, or additional costs. We also raise observations about pay administration, deficiencies in the IT general controls over some key government systems, the accounting for asset retirement obligations, and national defense's inventory. These are recurring issues that my office continues to monitor.
Président,
Mr. Chair, I would like to thank the dedicated staff across the many departments, agencies, and Crown corporations involved in preparing the government's financial statements. This concludes my opening remarks. We will be pleased to answer any questions the committee may have. Thank you.
Et on vous remercie.
Thank you. So we'll now go to Ms. Woodhull for 5 minutes.
For the opportunity to appear before the committee today. I'm pleased to be joined by officials from my department, Blair Kennedy, Executive Director, John Daly, Senior Director. As committee members are aware, the production of the public accounts of Canada is set out in the Financial Administration Act. Deputy heads and chief financial officer of organizations are responsible for the accuracy of the information provided and are required to follow the Government of Canada accounting policies, which are based upon public sector accounting standards. The production and finalization of the public accounts is a joint responsibility between the Auditor General for Canada, the Department of Finance, and the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat, which include the Office of the Comptroller. As Comptroller, one of my responsibilities is providing leadership for financial management within the Government of Canada. My office provides government-wide leadership on accounting standards and preparation of departmental financial statements, including the preparation of the public accounts of Canada. Le ministère des Finances est responsable.
The Department of Finance is responsible for the comments and the analysis of the financial statement, which shows the current state compared to the budget. The Comptroller General compiles information from departments, organisms, and Crown corporations and publishes public accounts. And the AG's office works on the consolidated financial statements, which are included in public accounts. Mr. Chair, I'm happy to say that for the 26th year in a row, we issued a non-modified or a clean opinion from the AG's office. Mr. Chair, I'd like to also underline that this shows the high quality of the financial reporting in Canada and the work done by my civil service colleagues. I'd like to thank the financial management community of the Government of Canada, Department of Finance, the Comptroller General, and the Office of the Auditor General for their assistance in preparing public accounts.
Touch on the timing of this year's public accounts, which I know has been of interest of this committee. The government is legally required to table the public accounts no later than December 31st, following the end of the fiscal year, or within the first 15 days once the House reconvenes if it is not sitting during that period. And I want to assure the committee that we always endeavor to table the public accounts at the earliest opportunity. There were several significant transactions and new transactions that there were several significant and new transactions that were accounted for as part of the preparation of the 23-24 consolidated financial statements. My team and I needed to take adequate time to ensure that the results presented were fair and credible and were in accordance with public sector accounting standards. Some of these transactions included indigenous contingent liabilities and provisions for accounts receivable and loans, in particular, COVID-19 programs and the Canada student loans. The government also had to assess whether any important events happened between the financial statement date and the finalization of the public accounts. Plus précisément, il a dû déterminer si certains événements.
More specifically, we had to see if these certain incidents had to be accounted for or explained in the notes. One of the examples that required additional information was the recent confirmation of the non-authorized surplus of $1.9 billion in the Civil Service Retirement Fund. So we had to carry out additional work and analyses to complete public accounts this year, which explains the late date of its of the date we were able to share it. So, Mr. Chair, we remain engaged towards publishing the next public accounts by October 15, 2024, barring any exceptional incidents. I'd like to thank the committee for the interest and the time that they have given us as the Controller General of Canada. I have the honor and the privilege of being here today to talk about the Public Accounts of Canada 2024. My colleagues will also be happy to answer your questions. Thank you. And we'd like to thank you for being with us today.